An afternoon shower or storm chance possible both days. Richard Wedding at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 88 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a great weekend, 4th of July weekend. I know it was a hot one, but hopefully you guys were able to eat some good food, maybe enjoy some fireworks, whatever it is that you guys get to do. I know we're back in the swing of things. The exciting thing is now that the 4th of July is behind us, we're getting closer and closer to things like SEC Media Day, Chase, right around the corner, which also means training camp is about to start, which if you guys like me, you're starting to get in that football spirit. Hence why yesterday, Chase, I was just like, you know what, man, I've been watching some tape. Why not go ahead and just drop a video? I feel like people really enjoy when we do our breakdowns. That's what separates us, right? At the end of the day, we might not be recruiting experts. We'll talk about it if you guys want to. Talk a little bit about everything. But at the end of the day, man, we're former players here on this show that break down the X's and O's, and that's what you guys really enjoy hearing. So that's what we did. We dropped a video. And if you guys haven't already, go check that out. It's on our YouTube channel at The Miller's Edge, where we also stream our show live every single day. But I did a breakdown on Alabama's defense, specifically from the Georgia game last season, the regular season one, not the SEC championship one. Maybe we'll do a dive into that one to see kind of what might have changed. But it really was, I don't know, Chase, maybe 10, 11, 12 plays. I don't know if you got to see it yet. But I go over coverages, schemes, things like that. Responsibilities. I mean, and I really dive into X's and O's. And I know a lot of you guys really enjoy breakdowns. So just do me a favor. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, show the video some love because that helps us out. And I'll be honest with you. YouTube does not like when you use game film like I'm using the all 22. But you said, you know what? I said, you know what? Probably not even going to be able to make money off of it. It's all good because we'll be able to reach the people and educate the people and talk some ball with you guys, what you guys like. So the least you guys can do, man, if you enjoy the breakdowns, just like the video, go drop some comments, share it, all that good stuff. Because again, we're being a little risky there doing that. So just show us a little bit of love on that. Again, it's on our YouTube channel at The Miller's Edge. We'll do more of that. I'm already working on the second one. I'm gonna space it out though, because I know, I don't want to, oversaturate it. You got to kind of make the people keep, wanting to come back. So I think I saw in some of the comments over on X that people want to see a little bit of the running game. I think next, Chase, we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown on Alabama's running game. And I'll be honest with you, there's a theme that I think I'm coming up with for this next video, so maybe I'll drop it in the next couple days or something, but I'll keep you guys up to date on that when we get there. But let me backtrack a little bit, Chase. We were talking a little bit about it, man. 4th of July, tell me, man, I know you said it was laid back. Did you eat good food? Did you do anything? I know you said it was relaxed, but was there anything that stood out to you this 4th of July, or you just were happy to be able to get a break from behind the glass and doing all the hard work that comes with, producing the show?
It's good to hear your voice, Christian. But yeah, I kind of was low key a little bit. It was just nice to just hear some peace and quiet. I think being in sports, you're so used to noise and just so much going on, but it just felt really nice to just sit in my room and just watch some soccer all weekend long. And it was nice to see families heading down to the amphitheater for a celebration, that event going on, and just the fireworks above my apartment. It was really sweet, but it's really good to be back in the studio doing a show and get it rocking and rolling. But I feel great, and hopefully everybody was safe. Be careful out there. I know I've been in a bunch of accidents last year, but yeah, it's just good to be back. But how are you doing? How was any fireworks for you, or you just kind of relaxed a little bit?
I just relaxed. I tried to the best that I could. I had a couple people coming over here, so I was like, you know what? Let me get my house cleaned up, straightened up. So, from the minute I woke up Saturday, I kind of got my workout in. Then I got to clean it, and then I immediately got to prepping the food because I cooked everything. And by the end of the day, like I was telling you, man, I was exhausted. Like the sun had got to me. I was out grilling. I put some bacon and cheddar infused hamburgers on the grill, some bratwurst, some hot dogs, and some chicken wings. And shout out to whoever delivered my order, man. I think they doubled up on the wings. I don't know if it was, I don't think I ordered 2, but anyway, thank you. We appreciate that. Got an extra pack of wings that we were going to throw them on the grill. Chase, you let me know. You want to come over here? I got a whole fresh pack of wings we'll throw on there. But yeah, I threw some food on there. I did squash, zucchini, onions, nice little blend of that. Asparagus, some diced like roasted potatoes, and it was good, man. It was nice, laid back. I heard all the fireworks, didn't see a whole bunch. I was going to try to go watch some or go look at some, but after doing literally nonstop activities all day, I feel like, dude, I know I just hit 30, but I feel like I'm actually feeling it. Last night, for example, I talked about the video I made yesterday. I spent probably a few hours making that video, right? I mean, from recording it to cutting it up and then posting it and the thumb, all that. Chase, I did that a few hours, man. Did some other, training up. By the end of the day, bro, I'm like, I'm already ready to go to bed so much earlier, man. I'm like, God, maybe turning 30 really is something. I don't know. But other than that, it was good, man. I watched some soccer yesterday. The World Cup, which we'll talk a little bit about here in a minute, man. Phenomenal. All these games are so good. I don't know if you got to watch the one last night with Mexico and England, but I was rooting for Mexico. Of course, I got a bunch of friends that are Mexican, right? I'm on my Spanish learning journey and all that. And man, just seeing them play in Mexico City like that, the atmosphere just looked incredible. And I was rooting for them. I wanted Mexico to pull it off because I feel like it's like one of those Cinderella stories. But unfortunately, man, England, Bellingham, he had like 2 goals within like 3 or 4 minutes right before the first half, and Mexico, they tried to make a comeback and they were fighting. I mean, what was crazy was they controlled the possession of nearly the whole game. I mean, I feel like 70% of the game was played in England's box, but their defense in the box was incredible. Their goalie had a phenomenal performance, and unfortunately, Mexico couldn't get the job done. So it was kind of sad to see that story come to a close. Quiñones, another goal, man. I think I might have to order me a Quiñones jersey, man. He definitely is a star of this World Cup, but definitely some really good games. And, of course, we got the one tonight. You got the U.S. They're going to be battling Belgium. Now, here's the kicker, Chase. No one really knows for sure if Balogun's going to actually play or not. I know there's talk about Trump in the White House making calls to the FIFA president, having them review that red card. Allegedly, I think they came to the conclusion that they were going to maybe lift that suspension or whatever their decision was. But now Belgium has, in fact, I guess countered that, right? Now they're pursuing something with that. So I don't even know what the update is. Maybe you have it, but we'll talk a little bit about that. I know you guys it's been fun to see people actually keep up with soccer or football for once, because it's not the biggest sport here in the United States, which, it's popular depending on where you're at. But, football, American football dominates it, basketball, hell, even baseball. But seeing everybody, my whole timeline, Chase, I'm seeing all these sports pundits that cover football. They're all covering soccer right now. So it's been great, man. I really enjoyed this World Cup. It's been super exciting. All the games have been great. I'm looking forward to this one against Belgium. Whether we're going to be down to 10 or not, I don't know. We'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, we still got this LeBron James decision looming, right? I think he's narrowed it down a little bit. Last time we talked, I think it was still at like a very high number of teams. Now it's down to like anywhere from 2 to 6. So there's a lot of updates we got to cover. Plus, we'll talk some Alabama football, of course. We're getting close. Remember, training camp is coming up. And so if you guys have anything specific you guys want to talk about, I know I did the defensive breakdown. If there's anything that you walked away from that video with, like any questions or comments you want to talk about that, we can definitely do that. Or could be anything else. We'll definitely dive into wherever you guys want to go on this Monday Madness edition of the Miller's Edge. Plus, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of news that we haven't necessarily hit, but we got to hit a timeout. So we'll do that first. And when we come back, we keep on rolling. Plenty of preseason lists I want to talk about as well. Top 10 college players list, preseason All-American list. We'll dive into all that stuff. And we got you guys covered for the next hour and 45 minutes or so. So buckle up. We're just getting started. We got one timeout to hit real quick. When we come back, we keep on rolling on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless
Well, it helps you find great home coverage.
The real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here
treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the dreamers
trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors.
Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit TremfyaRadio.com.
Alabama fans are all over the world, and we are too. Download the Tide 100.9 app right now in the App Store and Google Play, and take the Cruisin' Tide everywhere you go.
Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. I can't hear the bumper music, Chase, so I'm assuming that we're back on. I'm just going off the chat. But anyway, we're back and rolling on this Monday edition. Glad that everybody seems to have had a good 4th of July weekend. Hopefully everybody's still got all their fingers. I know my friend was joking about that, but it's unfortunately probably a true thing, man. Probably a number of people that don't have all their fingers. Anyway, glad you guys had a great 4th of July weekend. Ready to dive back into some sports again. I think, like Nick said, we're only a couple weeks away from SEC Media Day. We need to get Roman on here. I know he likes to come on here right before Media Days. It's a little bit of a test run, so we'll get Roman on here, get his thoughts on Alabama going on into the 2026 season, reach out to some other folks. We'll do all that. So I'm looking forward to it, Chase. It's about that time. Like it's not that time, but it kind of is that time. We're not really in football season yet, but I just got an email, I guess, from the media department. Tickets go on sale, I believe tomorrow. I think they said the 7th. For the single game tickets, right? Eastern Carolina, Florida State, South Carolina, Georgia, Texas A&M, Chattanooga, and Auburn. They mentioned all of those games in here. So if you guys are looking forward to getting some tickets, I guess I'm just going to do some free promo for the university. Not like I haven't given them enough. What does it say? It says single game ticket prices in the upper deck are $30 for ECU and UTC and $125 for FSU. And I guess homecoming for Texas A&M at a price of $200. So not cheap, but if you guys want to attend the games, there you go. You can start buying those tickets tomorrow. Chase, you're not a student anymore, but I guess you're media, so you're good to go, Chase. You get in all the games free with media, right?
Yes, I do, actually.
Mm-hmm. So you're in good shape. You ain't got to worry about that. But for our listeners, that's how much you got to pay. Are the concessions still, priced mad high? Because I remember people were complaining about the cost of concessions. Chase, do you remember how much that goes? Somebody was telling me one time, because I'll be honest, normally I guess you'd be in the same boat, whether I was doing sideline or if I'm just there, right, on behalf of media. When you're up in the press box, I mean, they got food, complimentary food, so luckily I never had to fool with the concessions. Are they still mad high? Have you seen any of those prices? When's the last time you gone to a concession stand? Somebody told me a hot dog was almost $10, which is crazy because you could buy 2 packs of hot dogs for that. Do you know what the price has been recently or no?
It's, to my knowledge and what I've been told, hot dogs and cheeseburgers and stuff like that are maybe $7, $8 for sure.
For a burger, that's not bad. For a hot dog.
Yeah, hot dog, I don't get
much.
that either.
I mean, could you smuggle some? Let me stop. Greg Burns is going to be like, hey, what are you trying to do on your show, man? I'm just going to say, as hot as it is, you could probably, put a pack of hot dogs in your pocket, just pull them out and roast them during the game, man. Just throw them on a seat. That's kind of nasty. You wouldn't want to do that. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, those are the ticket prices. They go on sale tomorrow. Hopefully you guys can grab those. And hopefully you can help sell out some stadium, I don't know, this season. I feel like we've been doing good with our atmosphere. Hopefully we can have another season full of that, which I think is going to depend a lot on probably how we're playing, right, Chase? I'm not going to lie to you. Let me ask you this, man, because I was wondering this the other day. I know it's the off season, so everything kind of cools down. But I just want to ask this for our listeners, everybody in the chat and everybody listening via radio. What's like the current level of excitement for this football season? And then I want you to compare it to like what it's been in the past. If you guys want to call in and give me your answer or just drop in the chat, leave an app message, whatever. I'm just curious. The reason I ask is because I know every offseason things slow down, right? People are, busy enjoying their summer. They're busy on vacation. They're doing all these different things. And then once, training camp comes, everything shoots back up. I get that. But for some reason, maybe it's just me, I feel like and maybe it's also because recruiting hasn't been as hot. We've talked about that. Again, I know there's a lot of reasons for some things. Some things I think we're just missing a little bit. It is what it is. We'll talk about that another time. But is the excitement level for this upcoming season, Chase, do you feel like it's still as high as it's been in the past? 'Cause I feel like every year, Alabama is like, at least for like the temperature from the fan base, people are like, hey, we're going to win a national championship this year. We feel confident. We're excited. We're fired up. But for some reason, I feel like this offseason has felt a little bit like, not necessarily like watered down, but just like the excitement hasn't been necessarily the same. And I don't know if it's because recruiting hasn't been hitting like it normally does. I don't know if it's because we have a younger team and people are just kind of like, hey, a lot of people are predicting more of a 9-3 type season. I don't know. We're just kind of holding our expectations. What's the vibe that you get, Chase, compared to, because you've covered Alabama at least since last year. I'm sure maybe kept up a little bit the year before. Do you feel like it's just a typical summer right now, or do you feel like there's a chance that things feel just a little bit different? What do you think?
You're on the money, Christian. Being in Tuscaloosa and getting acclimated to the community and being here, I would say about 2 years, being in grocery stores and being in the public. And whenever I talk to people and they recognize my voice, or like I'll be talking about football, they're not really
famous in the community now. I love it.
try to be a community man, okay? You gotta learn your ins and outs a little bit. But you're on the money, Christian. It just seems like people are just kind of meh about it. It's just recruiting isn't really high what they're used to. When Saban was here and in the glory days of back then, and when you played to now, it's just kind of a shock value. I would have thought, we were 5-5 last year. Like we barely hit 5. I'm just like, guys, like you are the University of Alabama. You still have a high standard to uphold, and you still have players that want to wear that crimson every day. And it just seems like, we've just kind of lost our swagger a little bit according to the fan base. And, I fear that this season is our make or break with our fan base. Not saying they would leave us or anything like that, but just the morale and the hype and just the overall excitement level isn't as high as it was last year or the year prior, or even years before then when I watched when I was little. And maybe that'll fix. Maybe if we do well in the first 5 games or so, 5-0. But I just feel right now people are just nervous. They don't know what to expect. This is kind of like uncharted territory, especially with so many factors that's going on, Christian. And there's so many new players too. So there's kind of like, we know what the potential is, but it's different when you put it on the field and you put everything together. So I think it's just, people are just kind of like, I'm happy, but I'm still kind of like watching like, okay, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of the general vibe I've gotten when I've talked to people like in grocery stores, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and I don't know. QD in the chat said it's because of 38-3, right? So maybe people are still kind of, I don't know, have a bad taste in their mouths because of that. I think it's probably a little bit of a combination of probably everything, right? I feel like NIL has kind of changed everything. I think with the recruiting the way it is, that directly correlates to NIL, right? That's a direct effect, right? You're talking about, hey, well, we got to manage our roster. We got to manage the money that we're spending. So since we're retaining people, we're not going to recruit the same way we typically would recruit. So now something that I think fans really look forward to in the offseason, because think about that, Chase, like football is year round, especially at the college level. Even the NFL, because you got the draft, you got OTAs and things going on. But at the college level, recruiting kind of fills that void or that gap when you don't have football, right? Because you got spring ball ends around late April, then you got May, June, July. Those are big recruiting months. And then you got training camp that starts. So I would say it might have a lot to do with that recruiting looks different this cycle. And I think people have kind of felt a little, I don't want to say overwhelmed, And I might just, maybe I'm just, I don't know, speculating here. I don't know. You guys tell me. I mean, you guys, I guess y'all are the ones I'm asking this, but I think that probably does play a little bit of role. I mean, a matter of fact, I just saw that is it Antoine Jackson, I think the edge guy that was out of Memphis, that a lot of people were looking to see where he went. He ultimately decided that, with Ole Miss, he committed there alongside the other guy that we were keeping up with. And so I think people probably just got a little tired of some of those recruiting battles that we lost. And maybe they're just kind of like, you know what, we're just looking forward to training camp at this point. I don't know. I'm just curious. You guys can let me know what you think, because I could be wrong. Maybe it's like this every year, but I just feel like something feels a little bit different. But the good news is we're almost at training camp, and I know that's already going to bring up the excitement level, because people want to listen, at least for me, because like you said, Chase, there are so many new faces, not just with the offensive line, but really across the board. And I'm really excited to see, because I was talking about this the other day, spring ball was nice because you got to see all these new faces and try to get an idea on how these things or these players are going to kind of come together and kind of where these, where the pieces are going to fall. But at the end of the day, that was literally just spring ball. And some of those guys were only with the program for I don't know, what was like a month, right? Maybe two, probably about 2 months or so before they really got out there for spring ball. So it's hard to give a true assessment on what you really know or expect is going to be the case for this football team. And that's why I'm really fired up for fall camp, because now these guys have had another several months, even though they haven't been practicing, with pads, but they've been doing 7-on-7. They've been kind of bonding outside of things, doing workouts and whatnot. And I think we're going to have a much better indicator on kind of what this football team could be in 2026 once we kind of get those pads back on and things, get in the swing of things. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think kind of about this offseason. Does it feel different, the same? I don't know. You guys let me know. We got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling this Monday edition. We got Smitty on the phone lines. We got Corey from Trustfield. We'll go to you guys. And we'll keep on rolling on this Monday Madness edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149 for your free estimate today. That's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start.
Roll Tide.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama,
We are here, treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors.
Great atmosphere, outstanding customer service. Where they do that at? Bama Entertainment, where the odds are always in your favor. Take exit 45 off 2059, sponsored by Red.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Proud
what does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
The best station in the state, breaking down Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're just talking a little bit about the outlook right now. I guess with the morale, the I don't know, the feel around, I don't know, the program, the fan base, all that good stuff. And just wanted to get y'all's thoughts. We got some good answers in the chat. Now we got some phone calls, so we'll go to the phone line. A couple more chats. I see the QD says, I'm excited and nervous at the same time. This will be Kalen DeBoer's first time ever coaching in his third year at an FBS school. I'm interested. Wait. This will be his first time ever coaching his third year for FBS school. Interested to see him coaching truly his team with his players. Yeah, which, I mean, you know, that's been one talking point, which is fair. I mean, you have to get your guys in there. You got to get your staff. You got to build your culture. That's a big deal. And so going into year 3, that's not so much of I don't want to call it necessarily an excuse, but that's not as much of a factor, right? You can't really use that anymore. I mean, either quarterback that ends up starting is going to be your quarterback because they recruited Austin Mack of Washington. He transferred in with them. And then they also recruited Keelan Russell. So you'll have your quarterback. That's your offensive line, right? Jackson Lloyd and Michael Carroll are 2 guys that they recruited out of high school. They brought in the rest of them. Only guy that wouldn't be their guy would be Will Sanders. I want to say he initially signed when Coach Saban was here or right when he retired, something like that. Then you got Ryan Coleman Williams. Other than that, and Daniel Hill, there's only a few guys, right, that are somewhat linked to Coach Saban. So other than that, I mean, it's just really their guys. He's got his staff. He made some changes on the coaching staff. So we'll have to see how that ends up translating. Hopefully it ends up being positive. Most people would assume that would be the case, but we'll just have to see. 205-342-9904. We got Smitty up first on the phone line. Smitty, welcome in.
How's it going, Christian?
What's up, Smitty? Talk to me.
Man, I was about to buy me a Grando Americano mask after that when I went to the bar last night to watch that game. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hey, I'm just saying.
I'm sure you were, man. I'm sure you were.
Hey, that's one of the perks of living in Phoenix. But the thing is, you talk about Will Sanders. For everybody who's mad about recruiting rankings, I looked up his 24/7. He was a 3-star, the number 30 inside offensive lineman in the country, and a number 28 player in the state of Alabama. Alabama fans would have been whining and complaining today. Obviously, Coach Saban saw something in the guy to offer him a scholarship, and he's going to be our starting left guard, most likely. So,
right.
And so I just want people to think, even Tim Keenan was rated lower coming out of high school, and Tim Keenan going to have a nice NFL career. Bama fans would have been mad about that. But I'm excited about the season because I'm excited about every Alabama season. I can't worry until I see it. And because maybe I'm one of the minority that thinks Caleb Board knew the run game stunk last year. Offensive line need changes. The coaching staff on the line needed changes. Maybe I thought, okay, he's going to do something after the season to address it and not just sit there. And I feel like a lot of fans, not you per se, just think he had sat idly by. It was cool with everything. Coaches know when their team has it or not early on. It's certain things they coached around it the best they could. It just caught up to them last year at the end. But I've always asked, how many coaches could have taken that team as far as they did last year? And I know there were some losses that could have been bad losses. But Mario loses the bad teams every year, but people glaze him more than his wife. So I'm just saying, because he had one national run to the game. But that's just how I look at it.
I think here's the thing, Smitty. I was just speaking on Miami. You're right, because I mentioned that too when we talk about coach rankings. I mean, Mario is, and some of those losses in his career have been coaching blunders, right? I mean, just poor management or decisions on his behalf. So, I mean, you're not wrong there. But I think sometimes when people just dive into how his teams look, or you're talking about the physicality that they play with, they lose some games that they shouldn't lose, but consistently you're seeing a team that has really good trench play, a team on both sides of the football. They're physical, they get after you, and I think that's a little bit of the difference, man. I think it really just depends on who you ask. I was thinking about this the other day, right? I mean, even think about Coach DeBoer. I mean, depending on, it's almost like glass half full, half empty kind of deal with Coach DeBoer. It's like if you talk about all the positives and the big wins and accomplishments, I mean, he's better than majority of any other coaches in college football. But then if you talk about the inconsistency and people focus on that piece, that's when you see people rank him lower on these lists. It depends on what aspect you're looking at when it comes to him. You know what I mean?
Expectations. Before everybody talked Miami and physicality, look at their defense. A lot of those guys were there last year, the year before. They was getting cooked by everybody. They brought in a new defensive coordinator. I think his last name's Heatherton, and they played better. So, remember, guys, Mario saw the defense was a problem, fired the coach, hired a new coordinator. If he was at Alabama, folks want him tarred and feathered like he was on Game of Thrones. But he made a change. You're not going to fire the guy mid-season and hire a new guy from the outside because you have to wait till that guy becomes available. So, my thing is, everybody loves about 38-3. So, Oregon should be miserable then, starting to the season. It was down 35-0 at halftime. Should they be miserable? I just look at it. Every year is a different year. In today's college football, you don't know what you have until they hop on the field because so many players leave teams. Because I remember this. You know when guys hit the portal from Alabama, all these folks complain, oh, you hit the portal. He took a bag. He ain't loyal. But when they want to retain the roster, everybody's mad about that. These people don't know what they want, Chris. I just call it a buck. Because you've seen it too. And I remember, because I don't think you was in college at the time, but Nick Saban lost that kick six game. The Alabama fans squawking until he started talking to Texas, and everybody got quiet real quick then. Everybody was squawking, calling out Saban. I remember that, talking about, hey, the hurry up offense, he's falling behind. And I remember those things. Guess what? The man was smart enough to say, okay, we got to do it this way with this game. It took a little bit because you got to get the players and stuff like that. But look what happened. They start winning again. But I just want people to understand also, NIL and its portal, you want to retain your two deep at most because that's what won the last 3 national championships. Those are all veteran teams who added guys. Ohio State's team was mainly their guys who came back. Michigan had a lot of seniors. Indiana, a lot of veteran guys who y'all would have scoffed at if Alabama picked them up in the portal, including their head coach, because he was at James Madison. I just think they're doing the right thing. If you're expecting a national title or bust, you're going to be disappointed more times than not. I just want to make the CFP and be in the mix. And I think with a young team, I think these young guys are hungry. I believe these young guys were embarrassed. I believe that coaching staff was embarrassed. They just ain't going to say it to everybody because folks be complaining about how he said it. Just be real. Because whatever Coach Saban used that he was embarrassed, he didn't go out telling the media. They just made requisite changes and fixed things as best they could. Now, he changed offensive line coach. Everybody wanted Cap go. Flipped him out. Got new offensive linemen. Yeah, they're young. But in college football, these are kids per se. They can get better. Let's give them a chance to get better. New tight end coach has an offensive line background. They made changes. Now, will it work? I don't know. But can we at least give it the chance? Because I would have been miserable if Coach Cat was still here. Just being real with you, because we saw it happen in 2 years. But I believe if someone made a change, you got to let it see it through. Now, if, like Chase said, people act like this team went 5-5. And I know 38-3 stunk. At the same time, that season is over. It's about the 2026 season. 2025 is done. And I just believe we got to be work more positive and worry about the players who are here now, and a lot of them who stayed regardless. But I do have a question for you, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
You were there when it was Hurts and Tua, and we know how much everyone, including coaches down, love Hurts, but we knew Tua was a better, more talented guy. Do you believe that Caleb DeBoer has to fight his emotional attachment to Austin Mack? Because I know people say being in the system longer, reading the playbook is different than playing on that field. And he didn't have a ton of experience out there either playing. So it's not like he had light years more experience than Russell. Do you believe that could be a factor? And how hard is it for a coach to overcome that, especially when Mac traveled with him to Alabama?
Yes, I do think that is something that he's going to have to make sure that you can't let that, I guess, get in the way of the ultimate decision that you make, because we've seen, I mean, he's definitely going to be loyal to his guys. And I'm not saying, oh, that's the only reason Jalen, because some people used to say that was the only reason Jalen Milroe was playing, because he had to be loyal to. No, it wasn't that. I mean, Jalen Milroe just gave the team the best chance to win. He had the ability, right? A team that could not run the football, where you got a quarterback who actually can pick up yards in the ground. We averaged almost 180 yards in the ground that year, and you see why he was ultimately the I guess the guy for the job that season. That said, I do think that is probably a little bit of a hurdle he might have to get over, because there is going to be a little bit of an attachment, and I know it's going to be tough. He's talked about how tough this decision is going to be, but I think ultimately, man, he knows, especially with the Heat, which, like you said, we didn't go 5-5, and we had a solid season last year, made the college football playoffs, made the SEC championship game. But with the expectations of this fan base, he knows at the end of the day, he's got to do whatever is best for the team, because that's ultimately going to determine his job status, right? So I don't think it's a situation where, you know, if one guy's clearly better than the other, he's just going to stick to, hey, I got to be loyal to this guy. No. But I think he's got to make sure that he ends up going with the guy who is the best man for the job. Doesn't matter the age, who it's been, how long he's been there. Like you said, it's about making plays and doing what's best for the team. And we'll have to see who that guy is. I don't think Keelan has just ran away with the job. I know a lot of people going off of his 8A performance would assume that. I still think this is a very close race. And I almost believe that it's somewhat Austin Mack's job to lose, not just because of what you said, but just knowing that outside of that 8A game, I mean, like, Austin Mack had a really good spring as well. So I don't know if one is, you know, way ahead of the other right now. I think it's still probably really close. And that's why fall camp is going to be really exciting. But, you know, I wouldn't even be shocked if we see both guys get a good amount of snaps in that first game. Hopefully that doesn't go on too long. But going back to the Jalen Hurts and the Tua thing, that was a tough situation, because on one hand, you had a quarterback that was like 26-2 as a starter. Jalen had started since he was a freshman, led us to a national championship as a freshman. And yeah, there were some things, you know, like holding the ball sometimes too long, and, you know, the things that he could clean up. But, you know, he was a winner. He was a proven winner. Then you had a guy in Tua who we knew was special. I mean, this lefty from Hawaii or California, and he was, you know, just different. The zip he had on the football, and then we knew it was a tough battle. But I'll tell you this straight up. The staff knew that they were going to go with Tua, and I kind of felt bad for Jalen. I don't know if people really know this, but, like, behind the scenes, man, like, you could just kind of tell the writing on the wall was that Tua was going to end up getting the job the following year when they were competing for it. And I kind of felt bad for Jalen. I mean, he had like a players only meeting with us, because, I mean, there was like some weird vibes going on. The media was kind of painting things a certain way, and there was some friction kind of built in. But at the end of the day, man, he ended up handling it better than than anybody that I would have imagined being in that position. And he was a great teammate, you know, and we know later on down the road, he had to come in and save the day in the SEC championship game that year, and ended up being kind of like a storybook kind of deal. He went from being replaced against that same team in a national championship game the year prior to coming and saving the day in the SEC championship game. But that was probably one of the most interesting quarterback battles that I've ever really kind of been a part of, because it was like, it was a battle, but everybody kind of knew the staff was leaning Tua. But ultimately, they felt that was what was best, and Tua did his thing that year too. Now, I mean, we lost to Clemson, and that was, yeah, it did, until we got to Clemson out in San Fran and got our ass whooped. But yeah, you know, it's part of it. So Coach DeBoer's he's going to have a tough decision to make. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, if it's a hard decision to make, that's what you got to do as a head coach. Coach Saban did it, right? He did it in the national championship game by pulling Jalen, putting Tua in there. We won the game. He did it the following season, but that's what he gets paid a lot of money for, to make a lot of those tough decisions. So hopefully that's not an issue.
Hey, before I run, thanks for taking my call. But also, that showed how much respect Saban had for Jalen Hurts. And stuff like that shows, because he knew Tua was a better guy at the time, but he respected that man enough to keep it open. And also tested Tua also where it's not yours. You got to win this team. And when you make a quarterback change, when people understand this, teams look at who wins, because even with Milroe, he didn't lead them to the playoff. That's the championship game year one. So if you're going to pull this guy when the team was there and say, hey, we got this far, this guy better be demonstrably better. And I thought DeBoer handled that the right way. And it's going to be a tough decision, but that's why he's getting paid 8 figures for it every year, to make that tough decision. But, hey, you guys have a good one, and keep up the great work, man. And good job on that breakdown video, too.
Oh, thank you, bro. Yeah, listen, we're going to keep doing that. I know you guys really enjoy it, so we're going to keep doing the breakdowns and putting those out. And I appreciate you showing love and supporting that. All right, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. We got more phone calls to get to. 205-342-9904 is the number. We'll keep on rolling right here on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Tidwell Chiropractic, the only third-generation chiropractor with over 28 years experience in Tuscaloosa. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-7503.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation,
across the United States,
and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Proud
what does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on
Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast this afternoon. Keep an eye out for a passing storm. Expect sunshine, warm conditions 91, soft southwest breeze at 5, and a chance for a shower or storm lingering into the evening before fading. Tonight, partly cloudy, muggy, cooling to 74. More hot weather on tap for Tuesday and Wednesday, reaching the mid-90s. An afternoon shower or storm chance possible both days. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 89 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship.
Touchdown, Alabama!
On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And welcome back in this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Let's take a quick call before we hit this top of the hour break. We've got Corey from Trustville up next. Corey, welcome in.
Hey, Christian, how you doing this afternoon?
Good. Corey, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm going to switch subjects here for just a minute here.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you something. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm going to ask it anyway, okay?
All right, go ahead.
We all know LSU Alabama was the main rival when y'all played. Am I right about that?
Well, I would say the Iron Bowl, Alabama Auburn would probably be number one in my book. But outside of that, I would say LSU would probably Tennessee. This is actually a really good question because to me, I mean, the Iron Bowl is the most significant because of the history. But then you look at the Tennessee game, and we know how important that was. But LSU was always a sneaky one that I feel like people didn't put as much respect on, like that quote-unquote rivalry. But for us, I mean, we had so many, at least during my time when I was here, Coach Cochran had Louisiana ties. Half of our team, it felt like, was from Louisiana. And so that game was always personal. And honestly, to me, Alabama LSU, I would consider being just as significant as at least the Tennessee game, in my opinion. I don't know about the history behind it being the same, but in terms of us playing them, Coach Saban's history with LSU, there was always a very intense game, a very physical game, and we always look forward to it.
Well, the reason why I ask is, how much in that locker room did the Iron Bowl mean? Because I've always heard the LSU rivalry was at the top. Mm-hmm. The Iron Bowl was not as significant as it used to be. That LSU game was at the top. Is that true coming from a former player, or is the Iron Bowl still the same as it still always is?
Well, I can only speak, Corey, on my experience, right? Because I didn't grow up an Alabama fan. I grew up watching a little bit of Alabama, but I didn't really start keeping up with Alabama until about 2012 when they started recruiting me, 2013, really. But that being said, I would say, like, yes and no. I mean, like, the Iron Bowl still was significant, and we knew how important it was to the state of Alabama. I mean, every year that we played it, the Iron Bowl, Coach Saban would, we always had a team meeting every Monday, right? We would start the new week with a team meeting. We'd go over the good, bad, and ugly. Coach Saban would then proceed to talk about the next opponent and all that. And anytime it was Iron Bowl week, and we got the whole history lesson, and, he made sure we understood how important this game was, not only to us in that building, but to everybody in the state of Alabama. So we understood the significance. But if I'm being honest with you, and maybe this is just my perspective, but with me being a kid that was from the state of South Carolina, and half of our team, once Coach Saban really had built up what he built here at Alabama, half our team was, from everywhere else, right? I mean, we had a bunch of Alabama guys, but, Texas, Georgia, Florida, California we had to start to get a lot of the guys from California with guys like Tosh Lapoy on our staff. So maybe that was part of the reason it felt a little bit different. But in terms of how it felt for us in the locker room, I would be, if I'm being honest with you, I would say LSU felt just as impactful or just as exciting or just as much of a rivalry as Auburn and even in Tennessee, to be honest with you, even though it might not have seemed that way on the outside, but to us in the locker room. And like I mentioned, those ties from Coach Saban to players, LSU week was, I don't know, it was one of my favorite weeks, man, because whether we were playing in Death Valley or they're coming to us, it was always a big time game.
Well, you always knew the talent was pretty much equal on both sides. I mean, don't get me wrong, Auburn and Tennessee had talent, but you knew when Alabama and LSU played, it was going to be a war for 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. And most of the time it was, and some of them were instant classics. And you played in some good games, and I'm sure you enjoyed playing in Baton Rouge, because I don't think the whole time you played there you lost in Death Valley, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I never lost to LSU at all. As a matter of fact, the only teams we lost to when I was here was Ole Miss back-to-back years of 14 and 15. We lost to Ohio State in 2014 in the postseason. We lost to Auburn my junior season. We lost to Clemson twice. And really, Corey, I think those are like the only losses I was a part of when I was here, which is crazy. I think during my 5 years here, I was only a part of 6 losses total, if I'm doing the math right, which is crazy.
Was you a part of the Kick Six or not?
No, so I came in 2014, the year following that, right after that happened, because that was 2013.
What was the hardest loss you had to swallow? Probably the 2016 championship.
Between that and then the last one, my last game ever, which I couldn't play in because of my hamstring from the Oklahoma, it was the Orange Bowl down in Miami. But that one, man, we got blown out. That was my very last college football game ever. And I had to kind of just sit there and watch it from the sideline. That was tough. But that Clemson, the first Clemson loss in Tampa was hard too, because really good football game. And we really, we were playing great ball. And then Bo Scarborough broke his leg. Our running game kind of, slowed down from that point on. We had a bunch of three and outs in the second half. We had some penalties late in the game that gave them good field position. That pick play happened. There's so many little details in that game where if like one of those things would have fell our way, we probably would have won that game. And that one was definitely tough because of that. And you're talking about 2016 was arguably one of the best college football teams that I've been a part of and have really ever seen. From the talent to just the way we were scoring defensively, I mean, special teams, offensively. I mean, there was like no phase of football that we weren't excelling in. It was a very special year.
Yeah, and then I think the best win in that time was probably second and 26.
Oh yeah, easily.
I mean, you can't script it any better. I mean, just the way it unfolded, and for you to be a part of that, to be a part of history of that, you'll remember that for the rest of your life.
Oh, 100%. No, I remember why. I'll never forget just watching it, just being on the sideline for that play. I remember Tua took that sack, and it was kind of like when Tua took that sack on first down, it kind of deflated us. I'm not gonna lie to you, because then you're like second and 26. You're like, oh my God, man, like, bro, that sack. Typically, as a defensive guy, if you make a big time sack like that and you put the offense behind the chains like that, I mean, you're feeling very confident. You're feeling extremely confident, especially talking about overtime like that, where there's not many opportunities left. And then for the very next play, for him to hit that, I think they were playing cover 2. And he hits that. He looks the safety off, man, and just hits that shot to Devontae Smith, another true freshman. And I remember as soon as that ball was in the air, and I saw it right before it even landed in his hands, we all just started going crazy. And it was a special moment, man. Definitely something I'll never forget, ever. That was very special. I appreciate you bringing that up. Always great to talk those good times. Corey, we got to hit this top hour break, man. I appreciate you calling in. Always good to hear from you, man.
It was good to talk to you. Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Good stuff, man. We got to hit this top hour break. When we come back, we keep on rolling on this Monday edition. We got some more calls to get to, some more things to talk about. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick timeout right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
England won a classic at Mexico 3-2 in a World Cup round of 16 games Sunday night. There was an hour weather delay at the start, so kickoff on England TV was 2 a.m. Jude Bellingham scored back-to-back goals late first half for a brief 2-0 lead. Harry Kane, a penalty kick in the 60th minute. England had a player kicked out during the second half, so it played a man down for over 50 minutes to finish the game and still won. Goalkeeper Jordan Pickford with 3 great saves. Norway advanced to a World Cup quarterfinal for the first time, got 2 late goals from Erling Haaland to eliminate Brazil 2-1. Late PK from Neymar, who has retired from the national team. For the Americans, star Flo Balogun will play Monday night after FIFA suspended his red card. Naomi Osaka upset number 1 Arina Sabalenka at Wimbledon in the 4th round. NASCAR's race at Chicago went to Chase Briscoe. Christopher Bell finished in second.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the dreamers,
trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. This afternoon, keep an eye out for a passing storm. Expect sunshine, warm conditions 91, soft southwest breeze at 5, and a chance for a shower or storm lingering into the evening before fading. Tonight, partly cloudy, muggy, cooling to 74. More hot weather on tap for Tuesday and Wednesday, reaching the mid-90s. An afternoon shower or storm chance possible both days. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 89 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with 4-time SEC champion and 2-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hour number 1 officially in the books. Hour number 2 is now underway. We've been talking some Alabama football pretty much the whole time, which is always fun. I don't know. I feel like there's just something in the air, Chase. After doing that breakdown, I feel like football is, maybe I'm jumping the gun. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of forcing Alabama football, not Alabama, just football season a little early, but who cares? We like talking football. That's what you guys like talking about. Clearly, we got a whole bunch of people watching the show today. Shout out to all you guys, probably some new folks. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. 205-342-9904 is the number. We got Chris from Decatur up next. Chris, welcome in. Chris, you there? Going once, going twice, and dropped. I think Chris might have dropped. Chris, if you want to circle back, you know the drill. Hit us back up on the phone lines. We'll get you back on there. I think that was the last one we had for now. So we'll keep on moving. Chase, I can't find this photo, man. I'm gonna keep looking while we talk and keep discussing some stuff. But I'll bring it up on the screen if I find it. Again, you guys can always join us on the streams at the Miller's Edge on YouTube or at the Miller's Edge on X, where we got a boatload of people watching, or my personal X account as well, at Christian MILLR, all that good stuff. You guys know where to find us. We are right here for you. All right, let's take a look on our X. Speaking of X, because I see Dwight tagged us in something. I know there's a couple things I wanted to bring up. Allegedly, there's a joint statement that has been put out, Chase. Get this, speaking of the Iron Bowl, from Auburn and Alabama. Let's throw this on the screen. I have no idea what this is or what it's for, but here it is. So here's a joint statement. Regarding the Protect College Sports Act. I think we had Adam in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still in there. Maybe he can chime in on this. Our official representation of the show, lamparello-law.com. That is. Make sure you guys check them out for any of your needs, whether that's academic misconduct, NIL, or even just any criminal defense matter. They'll take care of you. They'll do it in a first-class manner, and of course, an affordable rate. They beat out any competitor, man. I'm telling you, check them out, lamparello-law.com. Schedule yourself a consultation. It's free. Go to the website. You can see even more services that they offer, like academic and career planning, subject matter mastery, all that good stuff for high school, college, and graduate students, man. They'll take care of you. They are the official lawyers and representation of us here on the Miller's Edge. Again, that is Lamparello Law Education Advocacy. All right. This is what it reads, Chase. A joint statement from the University of Alabama. I love that we're up first. And Auburn University regarding the Protect College Sports Act. This is dated July 6th. This is from today. The University of Alabama and Auburn University oppose the Protect College Sports Act and urged the Senate not to advance in its current form. The bill is presented as a way to stabilize, in quotations, college athletics, but it would do the opposite by perpetuating the very instability it claims to cure through provisions that would, and here we go, it lists 4 of them, undermine implementation and enforcement of the rules established under the House settlement, including by narrowing the disclosure and enforcement tools needed to hold every program to the same standards, allow for new litigation, undercutting efforts to create uniformity and consistency in rulemaking and enforcement on the national level because of inadequate antitrust protection and preemption standards too narrow to displace the current patchwork of conflicting state laws, while simultaneously creating new forms of liability through expanded private rights of action, establish an expansive federal program reaching into roster decisions, game, scheduling, and internal governance to micromanage college athletics and advance private equity interests who stand to profit from a redistribution of media rights revenue by pressuring institutions to involuntarily pool media rights in a way that punishes rather than rewarding it. Auburn University and the University of Alabama both appreciate Congress's attention to these challenges and share the goals of creating opportunities for and protecting student athletes, sustaining women's and Olympic sports, and promoting fair competition through a single, clear national set of rules. But this bill does not meet that standard in its current form. It solves little of what genuinely challenges college athletics and leaves the central questions to the courts, inviting the very litigation it claims to prevent. Alabama and Auburn stand ready to work with their congressional delegation and members of both parties on a durable solution that protects student athletes and preserves the ability of universities to compete and operate responsibly. And I apologize if you guys just had to sit through all that reading, but that's what it was. And I wanted to read it because that was the first time that I've seen this. Chase, I feel like I deserve a round of applause for getting through that. I hit all the hard words, man. That was good, man. I feel like I'm well rested and my mind is very sharp this morning. So there we go. A round of applause for me getting through that. And oh, wait, hold on. Wait, do we have a soundboard? Chase, how the hell did you pull that up so quick? Wait, was that new? Did you just get that?
We've had it for a little bit.
Hold on, man. You've been holding down on me, man. I didn't even know we had a round of applause soundboard. All right, we're going to start using that a little bit more often. I like that. All right. That was kind of cringe. I gave myself a round of applause. I didn't realize you actually had one. Sorry, but we'll use that for our listeners and our phone calls. Anything you take away from this? So it sounds like it's very similar to what we've heard from others that have expressed some of these same concerns when it comes to, again, I think they like the majority of what's in the Protect College Sports Act, but when it comes to the pooling of the media rights and some of the other, I guess, issues that they find in here, I guess there's problems. Anything that you make of this, Chase, just off first hearing of it?
I think just Alabama and Auburn agreeing on something. I think that's
right?
Crazy. I never would have thought that would be.
That's shocking.
Yeah, that's weird to me. But I think it's going to be more joint relationships like this between rival schools because it's starting to affect everybody's pockets. And I think a lot of people, a lot of universities, higher ups, elected officials, they're understanding that, look, as much as we don't like you, you don't like us, we have a bigger issue at hand. And the things that were listed that you read, by the way, thank you for that. It's just too much, you know? And I think a lot of, like, you know, you look at the names down here, like our president and their president as well, they're fed up. The fact that when you know it's too much when it starts to affect higher ups pockets, yeah, that's how bad it's gotten, Christian. So I think if this is going to be, I feel like it's going to lead to a bigger discussion between a lot of the top universities. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State and Michigan have some conversations and be like, look, you know, if we want to sustain what we believe in and what we want to see our athletes every year, we've got to put a stop to this. Or there's going to be no university left in terms of like athletics. It's going to be a new era in a bad way per se. So, but yeah, I'm proud of this joint because we both make a lot of money And I think it's in everybody's interest to be on the same page, or it's just not going to be what we're used to, you know?
Yeah, well, it definitely shows solidarity. I mean, like, Auburn and Alabama were putting out a joint statement, like you said. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest piece here. Is like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. I mean, who came up with that? Here's the deal. Even though I can read that very challenging text that we have on the screen right here, sometimes it's just so much going on, all these words going around. I don't even think I'm the best one to try to explain all this. So I took it in while you were speaking, Chase. Thanks for doing that. I threw it into ChatGPT and I said, put this in simple terms, right? I mean, we're hosting a radio show here. We're not teaching a lecture at the university. Put it in simple terms, man. What are they trying to accomplish here? So basically, in simple terms, the bill is supposed to fix college sports, but Alabama and Auburn jointly are saying that they believe it actually will make things worse in some capacities, right? I think there's a lot of things in the bill that, at least from when we read it and we discussed it, Chase, I thought it sounded good. I thought it sounded like it was a step in the right direction. But here's some of their reasonings in simple terms. They believe it would make it harder to enforce new NIL and player payment rules that schools are just starting to follow. They believe it will lead to more lawsuits, not fewer, because the rules would still be unclear. Giving the federal government too much control, I think that's a big piece, Chase. If we're being honest here, you talk about the money. I think there is a lot of concern. We've seen this as a common theme. People worrying about putting too much control over there, dictating if leagues can create super leagues or how they're pooling their money. If you think about it, the SEC, the Big Ten, I mean, these are the big boys. They don't want to necessarily be stripped of their power. So I kind of, from one standpoint, I do understand. You do got to be careful before you kind of do a deal with the devil, right? Even though I'm not saying the government is that bad all the time, but I mean, you don't want to give away too much power, right? Especially when you already kind of hold the cards. The SEC and the Big Ten, they're the big players here. So I think it's just much of that. That's kind of what this reads. And then also another common thing that it mentioned about taking money away from some of the successful schools, Auburn, Alabama, like you just said it, right? That's a big one. If you do, in fact, change how the media rights revenue is handled, that, to me, Chase, I think that's the biggest thing. That's what they're most worried about. They don't want to lose power, lose money, right? To them, they view that as probably going backwards. At the end of the day, they just want probably just strict laws that make everybody play by the rules across the board, but they don't want their money in their pockets to be affected, like you said. It does mention on here on ChatGPT things that they do want. One set of national rules instead of every state having different laws, like I just mentioned. We know that's a big one. Better protection for student athletes. No one's denying that one. We know that was a good one, like the insurance they mentioned, and protecting, the sports, right? Women's sports, Olympic sports, that's a big deal. And then a system that keeps college sports competitive without creating more legal chaos. So I don't know, Chase. We've now seen the Big Ten come out, make comments about this. Auburn and Alabama come together making comments about it. I feel like there's other schools. And this is hilarious. It was Bama Pro updates. They post a picture of the Crips and the Bloods holding up their flags together in unity, man. It kind of does feel like that, seeing Auburn and Alabama put a statement out together. I don't know. We do have to hit a timeout. When we come back, I want to get y'all's thoughts on this and more. 205-342-9904. We're open on the phone lines. You guys want to jump back in on the conversation. Plus, we got some more talking to do. There's some more lists and whatnot we got to discuss right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Tidwell Chiropractic, the only third-generation chiropractor with over 28 years experience in Tuscaloosa. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-7503.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149 for your free estimate today. That's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start. Roll Tide. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149.
The time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy.
$1,000. Great atmosphere, outstanding customer service. Where they do that at? Bama Entertainment, where the odds are always in your favor. Take exit 45 off 2059, sponsored by Red.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel, a specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. This afternoon, keep an eye out for a passing storm. Expect sunshine, warm conditions, 91. Soft southwest breeze at 5, and a chance for a shower or storm lingering into the evening before fading. Tonight, partly cloudy, muggy, cooling to 74. More hot weather on tap for Tuesday and Wednesday, reaching the mid-90s. An afternoon shower or storm chance possible both days. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media Tuscaloosa.
It's 91 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. I just saw this over on X after we were talking about that joint statement with Alabama and Auburn with some pushback on the Protect College Sports Act. Talk a little bit about that. We'll dive back into that in a little bit. But I did see this clip. It looks like Bruce Feldman is on the next round, or he was on the next round earlier today, and he was talking about the national perception of Alabama. I feel like that's a pretty fitting conversation to have. We always talk about. We kind of talking about the outlook right now in terms of the offseason. Well, let's hear what Bruce Feldman had to say in terms of the national perception currently of Alabama football.
What is the perception nationally from where you sit of Kalen DeBoer after 2 years replacing Nick Saban?
I think it's probably better nationally than it is locally, right? Because I don't disagree with how you guys positioned it. I mean, Kalen DeBoer has done more than Steve Sarkisian, and he's done more than Lane Kiffin. You know, you look at what he took over at Washington. That was a 4-win team. In the second year, they beat Steve Sarkisian, and they played for the national title, right? He won at Fresno State. It wasn't like that was a blue blood program, right? And now he took over the hardest situation that probably anybody's going to have, where you're replacing the greatest coach literally in college football history. Right. So, and it has been up and down, but, look, in fairness to DeBoer, this is a different college football world. This isn't the same animal that, Nick Saban was working around, where, there wasn't NIL, and there certainly wasn't the transfer portal, where you're having to have every player in your program as a free agent every year. And it just creates a lot of, I don't want to say unintended consequences and headaches, but it's just really different. And I think that has created overhauled the balance of power, but has created a lot more parity within the SEC. And we see that. I think he's a really, really good coach. You look at his record against top teams. Sark's record against top teams, Lane's record, they're not even close to what Kalen DeBoer has done. So, again, those guys are really good coaches, but I think DeBoer is a really, really good coach. I just think it is such a hard job to replace Nick Saban, and I think there's been a lot of growing pains. I think it's a positive that now they're at least bigger physically on the defensive side of the ball. I think that'll help them. And we'll see what they get out of, whoever's going to be the quarterback. I think the other thing, they had a big recruit in EJ Crowell to keep locally. I mean, it's been a while since Alabama's had what felt like a great running back or a big time running game. And we'll see if they can get back to that. I'm very curious, because I think I heard what you said about, where they're going to be ranked in the preseason. I mean, I don't think they're a top 5 team, but I do think they can be a playoff team. Just depends on how good they get, offensively in the quarterback play, and if the run game gets a lot better, which I think it will.
All right, so that was Bruce Feldman again joining the next round earlier today. Credit those guys in their show for that piece that we just heard there. But I want to ask you, Chase. I'm going to pass to you, and of course, anytime I ask Chase a question, I'm asking you guys, the audience, whether it's radio and any of our streams, X, YouTube, whatever the case may be. I want to get y'all's answers as well. Bruce Feldman believes that the perception nationally is actually better than it might be locally in terms of the outlook for Alabama football, at least over the last couple seasons, Chase, and I guess looking ahead as well. Chase, you tell me, fact or cap, do you agree with that or no, that the outlook nationally is better than it might be locally? When we say locally, not just like local media, but I mean, because these guys are based in Birmingham, so I would say locally, like the state of Alabama, right? Like the true, and I'm not saying you're not a true fan if you're not around here, but you get the point, right? Nationally or locally, which one do you think the perception is higher for Alabama?
That's such a good question, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Man, that's hard. I would say, I would say fact. I think this, and I always go back to this because it's the bell cow of it, but Bama fans, the Bama media, people that cover Bama, the standard is still the standard. No matter the coach, the player, whatever is presented on Saturday nights, Saturday evenings, Saturday mornings, we are expected to win. And I think with the national media, it's kind of, they're kind of giving, I would say, more grace because Kalen DeBoer is under a new regime with Alabama. He's still figuring out stuff. I understand it is about to be, I believe, year 2, year 3, but, I feel like they're more relaxed. They're not used to so much demand that Alabama has every season. And it's just they see perfection. nothing else. If it's not perfection, if it's not the way that Alabama fans have seen it for years and years and years, then it's not what needs to be done here in Tuscaloosa. While other schools or other platforms are kind of used to the up and down years, Alabama has been successful for years and years and years. So I think it's just throwing everything into disarray a little bit, you know? So I would say fact for sure.
It is tough, but for me, I'm almost going to say, because on one end, I view it like, man, you know, you talk about the standard that Alabama fans have for the program, and we know, I mean, it's through the roof. But I also know that nationally, I feel like a lot of people, it depends on who you ask, but I almost feel like locally the perception, or I guess the immediate fan base, I would say it feels a little bit more, I guess it depends on what side of the fan base, because I feel like there's a little bit of a split, right? You got like half the fan base that's very much like, hey, we're bought in, you know, we're buying into Kalen DeBoer and his product. We're confident that things are going to get better. And they really lean into like those positives, right? Then you got another portion of the fan base that leans a little bit more into kind of what we've talked about, where, yes, there's been a lot of great moments, but there's also been, somebody say like this, I mean, there's some really high highs, but then there's also some low lows, right? Whether it's Florida State, Oklahoma 2024, the Michigan Bowl game, the SEC championship game. But I would say based off of what I hear nationally, I don't know, man. I feel like nationally, man, people aren't completely sold either. But then I've also feel like it's kind of turned around some, because I feel like recently I've heard guys like, you know, Cole Kubick and Greg McElroy, they've been like extremely high on Alabama, and especially with Kalen DeBoer. In fact, I feel like Greg McElroy is much more on board with Alabama now than he was when Coach Saban was the head coach. It's kind of interesting. It's like every time I hear Greg talk about Alabama currently under Coach DeBoer, it's like he is like super positive. I know Josh Pate's been pretty high on Alabama for the most part. I mean, there's definitely question marks. That's a really good question, man. I don't know if I would say necessarily that I feel like the national perception or the outlook is higher, because I do think a lot of people in this fan base have really strong and high expectations. And to be fair, rightfully so, I get it. I mean, when you have 2 decades nearly of dominance, and I understand that college football is totally different. I know Bruce Feldman mentioned that, but the reality is, I mean, it's hard to kind of reprogram yourself when you're just so used to seeing that, right? I mean, like, I didn't even realize how dominant it was and I was here playing in it for 5 years, but when you get so used to it becoming a normal thing, like, I think the fans got used to it. It was almost like every week you just show up and you just, all right, they're going to beat whoever they're playing. There's a good chance they're going to dominate them by double scores, but at the end of the day, we're not, like I said, I think I only lost, I say we, right, as a team sport. We only lost 6 games through the 5 years that I was here. I mean, that's crazy to think about, man. I mean, it's wild. So I don't know. That's definitely a really good question, though. Really good question. I guess it depends on what side of the fan base you ask. But I will say, I mean, I feel like Alabama fans, I mean, like, there's a lot that they're looking for from this upcoming season, really just from this staff. I mean, there's a lot of questions that they want answered. Just because of those inconsistencies. That's the best way I would sum it up. Because Bruce said, I mean, we talked a little bit about this last week, right? If you stack up Kalen DeBoer with Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, I mean, his record against ranked opponents is going to be better. His record against those coaches directly is going to be better. He's made it to a national championship game. He's won conference championship games prior. He made it to the conference championship game already in his second year in the SEC. I talked about this with my dad. He really, like, if you check all those, if you line him up next to pretty much any coach outside of Kirby Smart, I mean, Dabo Swinney, and he's won national championships and conference championships. I know they're in the Cupcake Conference, so I'll throw him in there. I know they haven't been what they've been, but, you know, Ryan Day will throw him in there as well. Outside of really those 3, I mean, his resume and what he's done is probably going to stack up and be better than pretty much everybody else. But it's just those those inconsistencies that holds him back from being the clear-cut answer. That's really what it comes down to. If you limit the inconsistency or the low performances that he's had, even if you just look at here at Alabama, without a doubt, the conversation regarding Coach DeBoer and how he stacks up with other coaches is completely different. If you eliminate the games that he lost, that he shouldn't have lost, or the fashion in which he lost those games, conversation is totally different. But I'll also ask you this question before we hit this break, Chase. If you were to take what Coach DeBoer has done over the last 2 seasons here since he's been in Alabama, which was year 1, he went 9-3, didn't make the playoffs, but played in a bowl game. Then the following year, he went 10-2, made it to the SEC championship game. I'm not just going to say a conference championship game because you got to put some respect on the SEC championship game, knowing how hard that is. And also led his team to the playoffs, won a playoff game. Matter of fact, I think they're the first team to win a playoff game on the road. But then we know how it went, got beat down by Indiana the following round. That said, my question is, before we hit this timeout, if you change the logo or the brand, do you think the outlook would be different? Meaning, say he did what he's done here at Alabama the last 2 years, but he did it at, let's say, LSU, Ole Miss, whoever, Tennessee, right? One of these other programs, right? That's not Alabama. Do you feel like people would give him a lot more credit than he's being given right now as the head coach at the University of Alabama? I'll let you guys think on that during this timeout, and we'll answer that when we come back on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. 205-342-9904 is the number if you guys want to give us your answers or ask some questions on the phone lines. We're open. Plus, you can always join us on the streams. We're loaded. We got a whole bunch of people in here across all platforms. So come hang out with us at the Miller's Edge on YouTube, X, at Christian Miller on X as well, and the Tide 100.9 Facebook page as well. Quick timeout. We come back. We get y'all's answers right here, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
You call 800-8000 or visit mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9.
They've got 5,000 square feet of Irish food, drink, and music. For a great Irish experience, head to the free, that's Innisfree Irish Pub.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you.
aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Catch every game and every moment right here. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
WTBC. Before we hit that timeout, we had that quick question I left you guys with. If Kalen DeBoer did what he's done through 2 years here at Alabama at another school, would the outlook, or I guess would he be given more credit than he's currently given? And to me personally, Chase, I think the answer is yes. I think if he did it elsewhere, if he did it at Ole Miss, he did it at LSU, I think he would get a lot more credit. But I think because Alabama and the expectations are just so high because of the success that has been built here from Coach Saban and company throughout the years, it's one of those things where unfortunately a lot of the positives that he does or has done, they often get overlooked or discredited. Do you have any thoughts on that, Chase, before we hit these phone lines?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's just because other schools, they're not used to the demand and not used to just how much winning is expected here in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. So I agree 100%. Yeah, if this was like an American Conference team or a Pac-12 or even a Big Ten, he would have a statue outside of a stadium. Because it's unheard of just to have that success that quickly. But because Alabama, I wouldn't say is used to it, but it's win or bust. It's like, it's okay. That third season is important. Like they wouldn't be having conversations out of those schools like you mentioned, like an Ole Miss or a Tennessee or even like I would say Ohio State. I think his job would be safe if he was doing this at Ohio State for sure.
I just thought about this. I just read this comment from Kyle in the Chase, and most schools would love to have had what Katie has done at Alabama. If he wins a natty at Alabama, you the next few years, a lot of bad losses will be forgotten, which, again, winning cures everything. But you know what that made me think about is that even if he were, say he won one national championship within like 6, 7, 8 years, which is very hard to do. It's a huge accomplishment. I'm almost under the belief that because Coach Saban won so many, people probably would even discredit that. Am I wrong in thinking that? But for some reason, I get the vibe that even if he were to win a national, I guess what I'm getting at is because he followed the man and he wasn't the man that followed the man, I feel like his legacy here is always going to probably be discredited or discounted. And I hate that for him because he's a really good coach, really nice guy. But I just think just like the whole situation, I feel like he's kind of fighting an uphill battle here. Like where I genuinely believe if he won a national championship, I think people would definitely be excited and they'd celebrate it. But then say the next year, I'm sorry, I just feel like I don't even know if he's in a winning battle here, man, just because of who he's following up. And we're just being totally transparent. That's just kind of how these expectations work around here. I think he definitely would get a lot of recognition, but not nearly as much as if he was somewhere else or, a place that didn't have expectations that are just pretty much unrealistic. All right, let's do this. I know we got to catch back up on a break. We got Digger on the phone line, so we'll take our time out and stay on schedule. When we come back, we'll come back and we'll give Digger plenty of time. I'm curious what he has to say. I'm oh, God. If you guys are new around here, we got a bunch of people listening. You're up for this one. This should be an interesting phone call. 205-342-9904. We got to hit the time out. We come back. We keep on rolling right here on this Monday edition of Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
50 sales event. Thousands off new and pre-owned. At Tuscaloosa, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. TuscaloosaCDJR.com.
And no tax, right, sir?
Well,
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Back to the phone lines we go. We got our guy Digger, Texas' biggest fan that loves Tide 100.9. Digger, welcome in.
Yeah. Devil's advocate.
Okay.
Just being honest. Devil's
Let's hear
advocate.
it.
Okay. So, you know that you haven't lost a Vanderbilt in what, 40 years?
Well, I guess now that's 2 or 3 years ago, but yeah, before that, something like that.
Well, that was the point I was trying to make. When they beat you, it's been almost 40 years, or it was 40 years that you lost to Vanderbilt, which is, okay. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be, and I'm just going to look at it as it is, okay? Okay, you're laying eggs, okay? Did Saban ever lay an egg? Yeah, once or twice, okay? And he was able to make up the difference with Natty. Okay. Now, the argument I'm having here is you're saying if it was any other program like Ole Miss, Tennessee, it would be more impressive simply because the talent is not there like it is at Alabama. It wasn't me that said it. You guys pushed the narrative that you had the best roster in the nation the first year you was there. Okay.
Whoa. When you say you guys, now make that clear, because if I remember correctly,
everybody was saying that.
No, because you can go back and listen to our old, me and my dad who watched football and played the game, were the only ones saying PFF has us as having the number one offense line in the country. We have no idea where they came up with that, nor do we agree with that. Everybody else in the media here, locally, nationally, they see PFF says that, and they're saying that. They say Caden Proctor is going to be like the number one tackle taken. We were the only people, it felt like, saying, hey, respectfully, we don't see that. And people got upset with us. They made it seem like we're haters. And then what happened? They ended up saying what we were talking about. So I wouldn't include us specifically in that, but I hear what you're saying. Go ahead.
I will say that, okay? You didn't say it. You
Thank
can
you.
best believe Gary Harris said it. You can best believe Ryan Fowler said it. That's
Listen, I can't speak for them, Digger. I watch tape. I don't know if they do or not, but I'm just saying, that's just me.
But that was the narrative all day long. Okay?
Yeah, I agree.
And so when you lose to Vanderbilt, okay, and again, I don't know why, but you lost to Oklahoma, okay, and they were having trouble adjusting to the SEC, and you found a way to lose to them too. Okay, the point I'm trying to make here is that he was going 10-2, 11-2 in the Pac-12, and when he gets his fingers wet in the SEC, he's lost 4 games in the 2 seasons. Okay. Now, granted, he did get to the SEC championship by tiebreaker. Let's call it what it is. It was a tiebreaker. Okay. You had 4 teams in the SEC went 7-1, but you got in because you beat Georgia. Tiebreaker. Okay. You didn't play Ole Miss.
That's a big deal, though.
You didn't play. I'm just saying, it's a numbers game when you get to the SEC. Until you go head-to-head with everybody in the conference, it's going to be a difficult way of trying to determine who gets to go to the SEC championship and who doesn't. Okay? You had 7-1. You had 4 teams that went 7-1 last year in the SEC. Okay? You got in because you beat Georgia, and Georgia beat Ole Miss, and Georgia and, A&M lost, okay, to Texas. So it's the egg laying, and y'all pointed out, and I'm just saying, he won and went 11-2, 11-1, or whatever with Michael Penix, who was a 6-year quarterback. Okay, he doesn't have that now. And I don't know where you're thinking he's going to do something this year because he's got a quarterback that hasn't taken very many snaps. Okay. So the bottom line is you got to look at the SEC record. Is it better than Sarkisian right now at the SEC record? Is this record better than Sarkisian right now?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm guessing.
No.
I'm guessing you have the answer.
The answer is no. Okay. And the worst thing
it's
about
probably
all
off
this,
by what? I mean, what's the difference here? Because he lost. We're only talking regular season records, right?
well, I get it. You can go regular season record, but it doesn't matter once you're counting the SEC championship too, and so am I. Okay, we both lost. Okay, and the point I'm trying to make is that
how many years? Wait.
Lost 4 games.
Well, here's the thing about the four games thing though is you're including postseason games. For like last season, they went 10-2 regular season. They lost in the SEC championship game, which is a conference game, and then the playoffs. So I mean, that to me is a little bit different when you're saying 4 losses there versus another team's 4 losses. But I get what you mean. But let me ask you. So it was Steve Sarkisian's. What year was it when y'all made the SEC championship? Was it the second year also? Right, it had to be the second year, right? Or was it the first year that y'all were in the SEC? What was it? I don't remember.
We went up against Georgia, and we lost to Georgia in overtime.
No, but I'm saying, so that was y'all's first year in the conference, right? 2023.
Yeah.
Am I remembering that? All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, let me ask you this, because people in the chat were curious, because they're saying you were talking about laying eggs, which that's just another way of putting disappointing performances. I've acknowledged that is the biggest shadow on Coach DeBoer's, I guess, resume is just those types of performances, at least in the last couple of years since he's been here. I agree with you there. But people want to know what your thoughts are when Texas lost to a Florida team. I think they're ended up being 4-8 or something like that.
Right. So if you lose on the road, I'll give you that. Did you lose to Vanderbilt on the road? Yes. You did.
Yeah.
Did you lose to Oklahoma on the road?
No,
you didn't.
No, No. So the first year we did lose to Oklahoma on the road. That was
Right.
3 picks. That was a very poor performance, and really even defensively. Was it Jackson Arnold? I think was the quarterback before he transferred to Auburn. I mean, their offense had nothing, but that dude ran all over the place, and it was very disappointing. But I would say this though. I think I don't remember what their record was that year, but last year Oklahoma was a playoff team. We lost them at home. Florida State ended up being a bad loss. That was the first game of the year, but Florida, though, for you guys, I mean, Florida was 4-8. They weren't a very good football team. So, I mean, that one's not a great one either. But I mean, I don't know about Steve Sarkisian about laying eggs frequently. I can't remember off the top of my head. I mean, I'm guessing you wouldn't classify him like that.
You lose to Georgia on the road? Is that laying an egg?
Georgia on the road, no. But Florida was Florida. But I'm trying to think. I'll be honest. I don't know y'all's records or schedules off the top of my head like I do Alabama.
In my sense of word, laying an egg is if you're favored,
right,
and you lose. If you're favored at home and you lose, that's laying an egg.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
If you're favored and you haven't lost to a team in 40 years, that's laying an egg.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you there. All
so
right,
when we got 10. The point I'm trying to make, the ultimate conversation that we're having here is that he hasn't won the big game yet, has he? Has he won the big game yet?
Who, Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, he hasn't won the big game yet.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Well, I mean, he didn't win the national championship, and he didn't win the SEC championship. And then if you're going up against Indiana, you didn't win that one either. Those are big games,
but he beat Georgia twice in a row. He beat Georgia on the road at home for breaking their streak. So those are big wins. And there's a couple others, but we got to get out of here, Digger, because I do have to make room for Wyatt coming up next. But it's a good conversation, though. I appreciate you calling. Fair conversation. I hate to rush you off like that. All right, we appreciate all you guys listening. I got to get out of here on radio. I'll stay behind on the stream for a second, but we'll be back tomorrow for a Talking Tuesday edition right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.